Hi guys, so welcome to Couch Conversations. So this is going to be a new series that I'm going to have on this YouTube channel because I really want us to get to the point where we got like a sisterhood going, right? That I can just sit here, be honest, transparent, be myself, and give you guys the tea and the scoop and the real, because honestly I see some stuff online and I'll be like, now you know. Like, girl, that is not real. So this is going to be a series. Maybe I'll put it under my lifestyle series because I do want to start having a lifestyle series so you guys can really see how I manage and juggle everything from my lifestyle. But at least in the meantime, let's start having couch conversations, okay? So in this first couch conversation, we have my couch. And then we have myself. I have my throw. Honestly, believe it or not, I usually sit on the couch like all day, every day. I will sleep here first before sleeping in my bed. My fiance had to tell me, like, get up, go get in the bed. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so beautiful. I love sitting on this couch and then staring out of the window. It's just one of my favorite spaces. So what other space than to use this opportunity to finally dive into the top 5 mistakes that I made when I first started working out. So I have my notes here. I wrote everything down. I want to make sure I am very detailed with you guys and just lay it all out there, okay? So my first one, I would say my first mistake, out of all of them would have to be that I did not stretch, I didn't cool down, and I didn't warm up and activate my glutes. I know you're probably thinking like, Crystal, does that really matter? Because I'm gonna be honest, that's what I would say. Like, does that really matter? Well, I literally feel like now that I didn't do those things, that I have like 90-year-old hips.
Will I need a calculator?
No, ma'am.
Because I have one, but I took the batteries out to use them in a crotch massager.
My hips to me are so uncomfortable all the time. I have to always stretch my hips. And maybe if I was more consistent, it wouldn't have to be always. But yeah, about 2 minutes to 5 minutes at night, 2 to 5 minutes in the morning. And I really feel as if they're as tight as they are because of the fact that I did so much weightlifting, squats, deadlifts, you name it, and I wasn't stretching. Also, I didn't used to warm up, and so I didn't get a really good range of motion, and so my results were lacking because I really wasn't warming up my body and getting it warm, which I really could have opened myself up to so many injuries because of that, as well as just even activating your glutes. You want to make sure you're activating them before. So now when I am stretching out my hips, I tend to activate my glutes. And so if I'm doing the frog pose where, you know, you're on your knees and your knees are spread open, I'm doing this down here like you guys can really see. And you're sitting like this, these are your knees, and I'm spreading and I'm going as wide as I can. Once I get to however wide my knees will go and my chest is on the ground like this, as low as I can go as possible. From there, I just start firing my glutes like boom, boom, boom. Activating them, squeezing them, throbbing them, pulsating them, whatever you want to call your activation. I start doing that and I go right, left, or I go at the same time. And I do that with every exercise when I'm working my hips. So whatever position my hips lead me into as I'm stretching it, when I get to that spot of stretching the hip, then from there I do my glutes. So I try to do those simultaneously. So that way I'm not only stretching, but I'm warming up and activating my glutes so that way I can get a full range of motion and they can be ready to go and warmed up for whatever exercise I'm going to do. Without doing that in the beginning, I would say the first couple of years, it was hard. You know, I didn't see much results. once I started doing it, I could see a definite difference. But also I could really see the range of motion. I think that's probably the biggest thing, was that I'm like, oh, I'm going lower in this squat after all. Yeah, girl, because your hips is open finally. Okay. So that's the first thing. I wish that I would have dedicated time to actually stretch, warm up, and activate my glutes, and of course cool down as well, and stretch afterwards. So now after my workouts, I do stretch as well as I stretch before my workouts. Okay, girl, I'm 35, about to be 36, and I feel every bit of it. So I have to make sure I do all of those things now. It's not even an option. Okay, so number 2. Let me know if you've experienced this one. Don't judge me. Don't come for me. I didn't used to track my food or even my weights or my reps for that matter, because there was a point where we're gonna get there where I didn't even use weights. But yeah, there was no tracking. I was just out here winging it, girl, you know. I'm like, I'm gonna show up. I'm gonna just keep doing all these videos that I see and I'm gonna build my booty, right? It don't take that much, right? You just show up and you go out there, you wing it, and it never gave what it was supposed to give. So let me tell you this, if you're not tracking, I highly recommend you track it. And I'm so glad that I'm doing this video right now, because let's be honest, everybody's about to jump on fitness. Beginning of the year is coming. So hopefully this goes out to so many people. So make sure you guys send this out, share it, like it, comment, because I need to make sure people see this, because your girl wasn't tracking and I don't want anybody else to live that type of life, okay? I was hustling backwards, like, damn. Ugh. So pretty much the only thing that I can say I tracked in the beginning was my weight, getting on the scale. That was my tracking. Every week, sometimes every day, making sure I was a certain number, right? Oh, I gained half a pound. Oh, I lost half a pound. Crazy. But never actually putting to pen to paper, or, you know, using your phone, where just tracking, just writing down how much you ate this week, how many calories you ate, how many of those calories were carbs, protein, veggies, how many reps did you do, how many sets did you do? Because the good thing about tracking, and what I learned later on in life, is that if you're doing the same exercises or working the same muscle group, let me say that, you want to get to the point where, or you're going to get to the point where your body's just going to plateau, you know? And so after you hit that plateau, it's not going to feel challenged anymore. For you to actually grow that muscle, you can continuously work that muscle group, but you have to challenge it. You have to make sure you're constantly putting it under tension and pressure. And so what happens is you want to make sure over a couple of weeks, you are increasing your weight. If you're at home, you're increasing your resistance or even increasing your reps. That is something that I was definitely lacking when I first started working out. And it definitely delayed me seeing muscle growth in my thighs as well as my booty, okay? So tip 2 is make sure you are tracking. Tip 1, make sure you are getting all of your stretching done, okay? Tip 3. Okay. I don't know. I'm looking back over these like, girl, you was just out here wild. I was so horrible. So I would recommend, or what I did for tip 3, or what, let me just get it out. Like, as you can see, I'm embarrassed. I'm a little flustered here. I got to the point, because I knew that I had to be in a calorie deficit to lose weight, I was only eating between 1,100 and 1,200 calories. And to me, a good day was 1,000 calories. I went online, I went to a calorie counter, and that's what I came up with. And so, oh my God, I lost weight. I definitely lost weight. I'm just sitting here because I'm just so shocked. I definitely became smaller. I got the small frame, right? Which is what I wanted, but not really. And I did not like the way my body looked. I was very small. I was very skinny. I just don't like my head. Just, I have a big head. Y'all see all this face? Like, it doesn't look good on a small frame. I look like a freaking bobblehead. So I became very skinny. I lost the weight, but I was very, what you would call skinny fat. And I'll show you guys a picture. Just no real definition, you know. I was eating less calories, but I wasn't eating right. And so you really have to get to the point, guys, where you figure out how many carbs, how much. You really need to get to the point, guys, where you figure out how many carbs, proteins, veggies your body needs to hit your overall desired goal. So not only was I eating less or eating nothing, I didn't really have an idea what my desired goal was either. It was just, oh, I want to be smaller than where I am, right? Because I was fat in my mind. So I say that because, girl, I wish I could go back some days. Like, girl, you wasn't even fat. You wasn't even fat. But I wanted to be smaller. And so that was going to get me smaller, eating less, which a deficit is definitely needed. But it's eating right that is key, not eating less, because it didn't do anything for me other than make me skinny fat, right? So that was that. If you are starting off, go on MyFitnessPal, download it, figure out how many calories you need to eat. I'm doing macros now because it does help me be able to have wiggle room and eat certain things. Like, I'll literally eat my food and save 30 calories so that I can have candy at night, things like that. So that way I feel as if I'm not pigeonholed to such a strict diet. It allows me so much freedom. But this is something I did not know back then. If you're following my vlogs for fat loss, once I release that plan, it will definitely have the step-by-step on how to calculate macros. But I do cover it in some of my other vlogs regarding the fat loss program, that series. You might want to check that out because I do go over it, but in a high level. But stay tuned, because once the plan is done, you can purchase it and I'll break all that down. So let's go ahead and let's make our way into tip number 4. Are you ready? I was scared to lift weights. I'm embarrassed. Like, super embarrassed. And let me not just say lift weights, because I know I have a lot of my followers that don't go to the gym, and that's okay. I promise you it's okay. I was scared of resistance in general. So even if you're not lifting weights at the gym, you should definitely have a pair of my booty bands, my long bands and my booty bands, and so that you can start to get just a little bit more definition and tone your body up. Because, girl, I was too scared to. And so guess what I did? Cardio, cardio, cardio. I was a marathon runner. Excuse me. I've always really ran marathons, and then I stopped. And then, like, when I started back trying to get on this fitness journey about 4 years ago, actually about 5 years ago at this point, I was like, oh, I'll just start back running because that's what I did before, right? And so I trained for a marathon, the OC marathon, and I got up between 4 and 5 every morning to go running outside. I was going to, because when I used to run, I would do the 26.2 mile marathons, but it had been almost 10 years since I had did those, and I'm about to start back getting in shape, losing weight. So I'm like, you know what, let me start smaller. Let me only do 13 miles, not 26. So I'm training every day, burning calories, and your girl gets super small. I avoided the weights. When I was at the gym, treadmill. And again, not eating many calories. So I took on that skinny fat body. I definitely lost the weight, but I hated my shape. And so I have to tell you that if you're starting out, I know you want to lose weight, and it is one of the fastest possible ways for people to lose weight is eat very little calories and do nothing but cardio. But if you're trying to build a shape, a body that you not only feel good in, but you look good in, then I highly recommend that you incorporate weights as well as resistance if you're at home. And that's why I started selling my booty bands and my long bands, because at the end of the day, HIIT cardio, or just cardio in general, you need more than that. And not even that, I got to the point where at one point I was doing nothing but HIIT cardio. Like, that's great. It definitely gets your heart rate up. It's definitely great. And I'm not saying that cardio should be removed from any plans, not at all. I honestly build my program and I incorporate cardio as more of a tool to help me burn a little bit faster, to help me get that heart rate up, to help me stay in good cardiovascular health. But it's not the premise or the basis or even the foundation of what my plans going forward are built on, because at the end of the day, it doesn't give me the shape that I want. No matter how small I get, no matter how small my waist becomes, I'm never going to like that body. That body's always going to be too small for me. I want curves. I need curves. And so, yeah, that was a mistake that I made, just doing nothing but cardio to get small, and not remembering that it's more than just, feeling good, but looking good as well. Okay, so I hope you guys are still with me. Tip number 5 that I would give you based off of my 5th mistake that I was making, when starting, is making sure your workouts consist mostly of compound workouts as well as supersets. Yes. One of the mistakes that I made starting off was literally just doing single joint movements, donkey kicks, right? That's a single joint movement. It doesn't work any other joints. You want to get to the point where you're doing compound movements. So most of my plans now that I have and the ones that I'm building, it took me a while to get here, but I started to build them around compound movements versus the single joint movements. And the reason why is because you use more muscle fibers when you are doing multi-joint movements, as well as you burn more calories, as well as you are able to finally build that better shape that you're looking for, at least what I was looking for, right? And when I say multi-joint movements, I'm speaking of your RDLs, your deadlifts, your barbell rolls, your squats, all of those compound movements that causes you to use more than one joint. Okay, does this mean that I think that you should avoid single joint movements, like let's say a bicep curl? No, you definitely need those. Those are more so what I like to incorporate towards the end of my workouts, kind of like in burnout sessions towards the end, or even incorporate them in the workout itself. That's perfectly fine. But the primary basis of my workouts are compound. And if they are going to be single joint, then they're definitely superset. If you don't know what a superset is, I highly recommend that you download my 3-day freebie. I give an example of my Build the Butt Shrink the Gut workout plan. I give a 3-day sample of that, and it goes into, or at least shows you how to pair a superset, where I put 3 to 4 exercises together and you do those straight without taking any breaks, and you take the break at the end of the superset before you start the next superset. My Build the Butt Shrink the Gut plan is primarily built off of supersets, just so that you could make sure you use compound movements, but also if you're using single joint movements, you still got that effect of just that deeper burn. Okay, and I strongly recommend it. Yeah, looking back, starting off, I was winging it and I had no idea. It took me a while to learn that, going to a trainer, and doing my own research, I realized how much more my body needed it to grow. It's to the point right now, guys, I kid you not, I can do a squat like no tomorrow. But baby, if you make me do an RDL, ooh, Jesus. That's all I'm gonna say. We're gonna leave it there, okay? It still kills me. Compound movements make me work so much harder, pushes me out of my comfort zone, and it really gets my heart rate going, okay? Are you guys ready? Instead of me just giving you 5, I'm gonna give you some extra tips. Let me give you 2 to 3 more, because I wanna make sure, like I said, if this is a beginner that's starting off and you are trying to get on this journey of weight loss or fat loss, whatever it may be, I don't want you to mess up and make my mistakes. So let me go ahead. I got a bonus for you. I'm gonna give you some extras. Okay. This one, number 6, it still gets me today, but it really got me back then. Is making sure you stop messing up on the weekends. That was my biggest mistake. Partying, going out, dating, you name it, whatever it may have been. It was like Monday through Thursday, I could eat very clean. Even when I start tracking, everything was great. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, girl, it was like it just went out the window. My diet, nutrition, my goals, you name it, out the window, okay? And so here's the thing. If you're eating in a deficit Monday through Thursday, great, right? Excuse me. But no matter how low that deficit was, the damage I would do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, it was like I pretty much had 2,000 to 5,000 calories every single day for 7 days. That's how much food, alcohol, sugars, you name it, Thursday through Sunday I would drink. And so I wasn't seeing the results, because your journey is a marathon. It's not a race. I had to remember that I'm still running that marathon even on Thursday, on Friday, Saturday, Sundays. It was crazy. It was crazy. It still is crazy. I'm not gonna even lie. It's something I still struggle with today. I'm definitely not as bad as I was back then, but honestly, it's one of the biggest reasons why I don't hit my goals as fast as I want to hit them, because my man is not on a diet, okay? He don't care about no fitness, nothing. And so it's so hard when we go out on these we have weekends where we just eat, drink, and just be merry, right? So you have to make sure, tip is making sure that you remember your why, remember your goals, and stay focused even on the weekends, okay? My 7th tip that I would give you. Okay, so for me, last but not least would be recovery, sleep and recovery. I have a weird issue where I just don't sleep enough, believe it or not. My body will wake up anywhere between 4 and 6 hours, or at least back then it would wake up between 4 and 6 hours. And it just wasn't giving me enough time to let my muscles really recover and grow and heal and build and rebuild, should I say. I'm doing the workouts and I'm exhausted, but I'm just not sleeping enough. And let's be honest, I was still going out, like I said, on the weekends, girl. All of that ties into it. And so I just wasn't getting enough rest for my body. And so I wasn't able to see the results that I would have been able to see if I could sleep or put myself to sleep. So I started drugging myself. Yes, I did. Don't judge me. I don't want no judgment on this. I don't want no judgment on this channel. Don't judge me. Okay. So I started taking melatonin. So they have little gummies that you can take. If you take the melatonin gummies, it helps you go to sleep. So I started doing that so I could actually start to get rest. From there, I started to make sure that I didn't go out on Sundays whatsoever. Even now, it's very rare that we go out on Sundays. And I started to make sure that I had enough sleep on the weekends, and during the weekdays, I started going to bed early, which was hard because going to bed at 9, at least back then, was just crazy hard for me. And then out of nowhere, taking the melatonin, I started getting used to being able to go to bed at 9, and now I be in bed between 9 and 9:30. 10 is me pushing it, girl. And I get my hours of sleep, you know. Now I no longer need the melatonin. My body is definitely used to it. So I am getting the best sleep that I've had in years, right? but it took me a while to get here. So if you're not seeing results, it definitely could be, and you're putting in the work. Let me say that, because I was putting in the work, okay? You want to make sure that you're getting enough rest, because you can be doing all the weights and resistance bands and booty bands and donkey kicks, you name it, sis. But if you're not allowing your body that time to rest and recover, it's going to be very hard for it to actually build or rebuild itself, which rebuilding is it building itself bigger, okay? So you want to give yourself that time to really rest and recover. I actually have a lot of recovery tips, guys, that I posted in the community, where I give all of my recovery tips that I currently use right now for my muscles. And you want to get that, go to the community tab. It's available there. It's a nice little PDF that I put together for you guys, okay? So if you guys have any questions on anything that was discussed here, definitely leave it in the comments. If you have experienced any of these mistakes yourself on your fitness journey, leave it in the comments. Don't make me feel like I'm crazy out in these streets, because I am a little embarrassed right now. But that's the beauty of couch conversations. I want to be able to be vulnerable, to be able to let you know that I did mess up, that I did make mistakes, that I do make mistakes, right? And I'm learning from them. So yeah, look forward to these series of couch conversations. If not monthly, maybe bi-monthly. But I think girl to girl, we need to have these. Like, let's really sit down. Like, there's so many things that I want to talk about, even from skincare while working out, natural hair while working out, right, girl? pH balance in these leggings while working out, okay? I've experienced it all, and I just really want to be able to share as much as I can for those who are beginning, so that you don't make the same mistakes, or maybe I'm just able to give you some really good insights that you can use going forward, okay? Thank you so much. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I truly appreciate each and every one of you for following me on this journey. To my notification gang, that's what they've been calling themselves, because once the notification goes out that I post a video, they actually respond. You guys are just amazing. Anyone else that doesn't have your notifications on, turn them on. And if you haven't checked out my blog series of my fat loss journey, you want to do that, okay? As well as if you haven't grabbed any of the BCAAs, or even the scale that I'm using that I talk about, because that's what I'm using to measure out my food, I'll leave those links below. And of course, what is the infamous link that I will always leave below for you guys is my Build the Butt, Shrink the Gut plan, so that you guys can go ahead and purchase and enjoy that as well. And then lastly, a new link that's going to be on all my videos is my freebies. I want to also make sure for those people who maybe are on the fence from buying or not ready to buy a workout plan, that you guys get something free, that I'm still impacting and helping you guys. So I'm going to have a link for my 3-meal plan, freebie, so you guys can see kind of the layout of what my meal plans look like, since I have a vegan meal plan, I have a pescatarian meal plan, and a standard meal plan that are all amazing. I'm going to leave a freebie. So if you subscribe, I'll go ahead and give you 3 of my favorite recipes from my meal plans, as well as I'm going to leave my freebie for my Build the Butt, Shrink the Gut plan. That's right. You'll be able to get a 3-day sample of what that plan looks like, so you can see what those superset look like. You can also see how, if you click the name of the exercise, then how-to videos will pop up for you to help you really be able to do the exercises. So thank you guys again. Watch my vlog series on fat loss. Before you go, subscribe, like, and share. Thank you for joining me on the couch.